A dead man lies beneath a shelter on the Volga. For 10 days, his body waits while people drink, sing, and build a ship that will never sail. Weapons, food, and animals are carried aboard. Then a young enslaved woman is lifted toward a wooden frame. She says she can see her master in a green and beautiful place. Moments later, men begin striking their shields. They are trying to drown out her screams. Fire takes the ship, the dead man, and the living victim beside him, and one foreign witness watches everything.
He came from Baghdad to advise a Turkic king. He didn't know that history would remember him for the death he witnessed instead.
By the time the caravan left Baghdad, the journey had already become political. The Abbasid Caliph al-Muqtadir was sending an embassy far beyond the familiar borders of his world toward the meeting of the Volga and Kama rivers. Among its members was Ahmad ibn Fadlan, a jurist, secretary, and careful observer whose task was to explain Islamic law, deliver the caliph's letter, and record what happened. The request had come from the ruler of the Volga Bulgars. He wanted teachers, legal experts, money for a fortress, and help strengthening Islam among his people. But faith was only part of it. To the south stood the powerful Khazar Khaganate. From the north came merchants, warriors, and slave traders. Between them, the Bulgar ruler was trying to secure a state on one of the medieval world's busiest frontiers. In June 921, the embassy began moving north. It crossed Persia, Bukhara, and Khwarazm, then left the familiar roads behind. Winter closed around them. Rivers froze. Horses struggled. On the open steppe, an offended chief could be as dangerous as the cold. Among the Oghuz Turks, a local commander threatened to seize the embassy. They argued, offered gifts, and waited while local leaders debated their fate. Ibn Fadlan shaped the episode as a narrow escape, but the fear behind it was real. The caravan survived and continued north. With every mile, the caliph's authority weakened. On the steppe, power belonged to whoever controlled the road. In May 922, the embassy reached the Volga Bulgars. The caliph's letter was read aloud. Robes were presented, coins scattered, and his name entered the public prayer. For a moment, Baghdad seemed to have reached the Volga. Then, the ruler asked for the money he had been promised. It was not there. Political enemies had blocked the funds. Ibn Fadlan arrived with prestige and ceremony, but without the fortress money. The ruler was furious. He wanted more than instruction, protection, recognition, and the means to defend himself. The Bulgars already traded, governed, and practiced Islam in their own way. Now Baghdad had entered their politics and failed to bring what they needed most.
On the Volga, Baghdad met a Turkic Muslim kingdom, the power of the Khazars, and the northern traders we now call the Rus. None of them came as spectators.
The Khazars were never far from the story. They controlled the lower Volga and profited from north-south trade. Later accounts claim the Bulgar ruler's son had been held at the Khazar court, though that detail remains uncertain. What is certain is the pressure. The Bulgars wanted room to act without Khazar domination, and the rivers brought another force into their world, the Rus. Ibn Fadlan saw them arriving in boats with furs, weapons, silver, and enslaved people. Most historians connect them with Scandinavian merchants and warriors, though the communities were probably mixed. They had followed the eastern route of the Viking world. From the Baltic, they moved through rivers and brutal portages toward the Volga and Caspian. Silver went north, furs, weapons, and captives went south. The Volga was not the edge of civilization. It was a highway between worlds. Ibn Fadlan described their bodies, weapons, hygiene, and drinking with the sharp judgment of a Baghdad jurist. Some of what he wrote was direct observation. Some passed through interpreters and his own disgust. He watched a merchant offer food and drink to a tall wooden figure asking for a rich buyer. Success brought animal sacrifice. The god is never named, despite later attempts to identify it. Then one wealthy Rus leader died. His people placed the body in a temporary grave and prepared for days. Property was divided. Drink flowed. A ship was dragged onto land and raised on a platform. Then the dead man's enslaved women were asked which of them would die with him. One volunteered. From that moment, there was no clear path back. She was guarded and moved through a ritual controlled by everyone around her. Later stories turn her into a willing bride seeking paradise, but the witness describes an enslaved woman inside a system that had already claimed her life. On the final day, the corpse was exhumed, richly dressed, and carried onto the ship. Inside a tent, the dead man was seated among weapons, food, and drink. A dog, horses, and cattle were killed and thrown aboard for a journey no living person could see. The enslaved woman went from tent to tent. Men had intercourse with her and sent messages through her to the dead. Whatever sacred meaning they claimed, the scene was also ritualized sexual violence. Near sunset, she was led toward a wooden frame and lifted above it 3 times. Through an interpreter, Ibn Fadlan heard her describe what she saw: her parents, her dead relatives. Finally, her master waiting in a green and beautiful place. Perhaps it was ritual vision, perhaps drink, terror, and expectation shaped the words. Then she climbed onto the ship. She removed her bracelets and gave them to the woman overseeing the killing, the figure Ibn Fadlan calls the Angel of Death. She drank, sang, and said farewell. 6 men entered the tent. 2 pulled a cord around her neck. The Angel of Death drove a blade between her ribs. Outside, the Rus struck their shields so the other enslaved women would not hear her screams.
The horror is not only that she died. It is that the ritual had already turned her death into something everyone else was expected to accept.
A close relative approached naked, walking backward with burning wood, and ignited the pyre without looking. Others added fire. The wind caught the flames. The tent collapsed. Ship, dead man, and woman vanished behind smoke. A Rus man near Ibn Fadlan laughed at Arab burial customs. "You place your dead in the earth," he said, "and worms consume them. We burn ours at once, and they enter paradise immediately." He pointed to the wind as proof that his Lord had accepted the dead. The speech came through an interpreter, but its contempt crossed every language. By nightfall, the ship was gone. A mound and wooden marker rose in its place. No trace of this exact grave has been securely identified, but the world that produced it has left evidence everywhere. Across Scandinavia and the Baltic, Islamic silver coins remain as metal footprints of the Eastern trade. The Volga carried more than wealth. It carried beliefs, languages, captives, technologies, and stories. The Bulgars farmed, traded, collected tolls, and negotiated with larger powers. Islam connected them to law, scholarship, and distant markets, but change was incomplete. Ibn Fadlan complained about errors in prayer and customs he considered improper. He was watching a society change in real time. The Khazars remained powerful downstream. Jewish rulers, Muslim merchants, Christians, pagans, and steppe traditions occupied the same political world. The clean religious borders imagined on modern maps did not exist. The Rus were changing too. On the Volga, they were mobile communities of merchants and warriors, bound by ships, profit, loyalty, and violence. Some returned north with silver, some remained. Some became part of new states and new identities.
What made this moment unique was not that distant worlds suddenly met. It was that they were already connected, and one witness finally showed us how close they had become.
Ibn Fadlan had traveled north to advise a king. Instead, he preserved one of the most vivid encounters of the medieval age. A ruler demanding Baghdad's money, steppe chiefs deciding a caravan's fate, merchants asking wooden gods for buyers, a Rus warrior mocking burial in the earth, and an enslaved woman speaking of a green world moments before she was killed. His account carries prejudice, translation, memory, and fear, but it places us beside the river, close enough to smell the smoke, close enough to hear the shields, close enough to understand that the famous Viking funeral was never a universal tradition. This was one funeral, performed by one Rus community on the Volga in 922. Elsewhere, burials took many forms. Here, the dead man received fire, and the woman beside him received no grave of her own. The manuscript survived in fragments until a fuller copy resurfaced in the 20th century, yet the scene endured. A ship on land, a foreign witness, a crowd making noise so it would not have to hear what it was doing. History often remembers kings, conquests, and conversions. Ibn Fadlan gave us something more unsettling. He recorded the moment when trade, faith, ambition, and violence occupied the same strip of riverbank, and he left behind the voice of a woman whose own name was never written down.
The ship disappeared in a single night. Her name disappeared forever. But the witness made sure the world couldn't forget what happened there.